This segment of the iView video training series is going to focus on schedules. Through this, we'll be able to view and print schedules, apply a schedule to an individual piece of equipment, apply a schedule to a group of items, edit or delete a schedule, and review effective schedules to make sure we accomplished our scheduling goals. We'll bring in the iView interface. We're beginning at the top of our building from the graphics page, just so we have a touchstone to begin. Let's move over here to the Schedules button, and we have three tabs: View, Configure, and Reports. So let's begin with Reports and look at our schedule instances. This is going to display all instances of schedules that apply to this location or below, and that is referring to our tree here. Schedule instances with a report, we must always hit the Run button. And here we are. Building 1 is the location of this schedule. It's an override priority type. And the description is construction schedule. It's in place from January of 2022, beginning at 8 a.m., all the way through February of the year 2050 to 5 p.m. And that basically is going to keep the entire building occupied for all of that time. We want to be able to make the building utilize less energy while still keep everybody comfortable while they're there. So this is why we set up schedules for our building. Notice when I clicked on Reports, it shifted me over here to the Reports button on my screen. I'm going to go back to Schedules. Reports tab is where we're at. And when I selected Schedule Instance, it referred us over to the Reports button. Now let's go back to Effective Schedules and run this one. So the effective schedules take us to today's date, and it shows us what the building is going to do. Every piece of equipment is listed, and the effective schedule is midnight to midnight for everything in the building. Going back to our Schedule button and going to View, we can see the same information in a little bit different way. I have a button here for View All. I can click on this and it shows me the entire week that's coming up. Since today's date is 2/7, it shows us 2/7, the construction schedule, and it shows us in this salmon color, according to our defined schedule legend at the bottom, this is an override occupied time. The white indicator for effective tells us here that the zone is using occupied set points. So we want to tighten up our schedules and save some energy dollars in the process. What I've done is taken the liberty of creating a document that you might be a little bit hard-pressed to find, but for the sake of this exercise, it's going to make life a little bit easier for us. I laid out a schedule of everything that we want to have happen within the building for the next year. We're going to run independent schedules on the first floor versus the second floor to accommodate the needs of two different groups of people that use the building at different times. We're going to lay in some holidays that we're going to have in place, and then also take care of some special events that we have as well. So let's begin. We're going to go to the first floor level of our building and add a schedule. I've taken the time to put in the priorities that we are going to utilize for each of these, as well as the type to streamline our process a little bit. At the first floor level, I want to have a normal priority schedule. And notice we have a bit of a help note here to tell us what all of this means. We have normal, and then it says holiday takes priority over normal. We have holiday, and it tells us override takes priority over holiday, and here we have override. We'll select normal, which allows us to go to the next piece, which is choosing the type. Our type is going to be a weekly. So we'll select that. Always get in the habit of putting in a description of what the schedule is there for. If you want to get right down into the meat of this and have a lot of detail, we can simply copy and paste this directly into our description. Here we want to select the days that we want this to run. And since our description has all of this information, it makes it very easy to set up Monday through Friday. Our time is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I can either click and drag this bar back and forth to accommodate what the times are that I want it to work, and then hit accept, or I can key in the values, and I'll do that on the next example. So now I have my normal schedule Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I can go to view, and it shows that I have my schedule ready to go. But for the time being, we're still running on the construction schedule. More on this in a little bit. Now we'll go to floor 2. So the second floor is going to run Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Back to configure, add, normal, type is weekly. We'll do the same thing with our description. Since that worked so well, we'll simply copy and paste it. I'm using the Control V on my keyboard to be able to paste that in there quickly and easily. Check our boxes. Now this one is 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So this time I'm going to key in the numbers that I want, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The line updated for us, and I can hit accept. Now that I have these things in place, I can go ahead to my building 1 level and remove that without turning off all of my equipment. If you're going to add a tighter schedule, make sure that you get your new schedules in place before you delete the other, so you don't shut down your entire building in the middle of the workday. Now, before I do anything else, let's go back to my reports at the top of my building and run that schedule instance report once again. Select run. Now I can see building 1 still has my construction schedule. Floor 1 has my Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Floor 2, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4:30. And they match the description that I put in place. Now I can go back to the schedule button, configure, top of the building, select my construction schedule, and simply delete it. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And proceed. Bouncing down to floor 2, and now I'll use the View tab. I can see my effective schedule is going to be using occupied set points Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm using unoccupied set points for those entire days because nobody will be in the building. If I want to verify that further, I can click on View All and see all of that in detail. Here we can go further through our holidays that we have coming up for the year. Holidays, I can go to the top of my building where I no longer show that there are any schedules in place because the day-to-day operation is handled at floor 1 and floor 2 level. So let's begin. New Year Day, January 1, it's going to be a holiday priority in a single date type of schedule. I go to Schedules and Configure and Add. Holiday, type is date, description is New Year's Day. Now, I can simply put in 1/1/2023. However, I want to make sure that that date is actually a weekday. So I'm going to use my calendar. Since I put in the numbers for the month and day, it has already taken me to January of 2023. And sure enough, January 1 is a Sunday. The building would already be closed. So I want to select Monday the 2nd to be the date that I'm going to be in holiday mode or unoccupied set points. Click accept. And now we have our first holiday in place, and you can see iView is downloading this to the controllers that are in place. Let's go to floor 2. We can see our New Year's Day holiday is in place. I can highlight it. Again, it's uneditable because it's at the building 1 level. Let's do another. Back to building 1. I'm going to add. This is going to be a priority holiday once again, but this time we're going to utilize a wild card. Last Monday in May is always going to be a holiday. Select holiday, and this time we will use the wild card. Give it the description. So now we have a pattern that we can put in place. Day of month, any day. I don't care what this is going to be for the specific day of the month. Day of week, it's only going to be on a Monday. We can leave the year at all zeros. For every year, it's going to be the same thing. For the month, it only happens in May. And for the week, it's always the last week. So day of the week is Monday in May, the last week. And we are going to be in holiday mode. Click accept. We'll do the next one for our year-end break. Priority, again, holiday. And this time we're going to utilize a date range. December 26th through the 30th, the building's going to be closed. So we'll go to date range, year-end break. We can either use our calendar to put this in or key in the numbers. We'll just key it in this way. December 26th through 12/30. Unoccupied is the default, and accept. So we have 3 holidays in place. If we go to floor 2 level, we can see our schedule is in place for floor 2. We can see the holidays and how they affect it. Now I want to view it and make sure that the effective situation is what I expect it to be. So since we're at May 30 for one of these, we can use our calendar to jump forward to May. We'll select this week. And an easy way to see this is click View All. We see Sunday, where I chose to begin. We are using our effective unoccupied set points. Monday, we have our normal schedule in place. However, we also have our holiday schedule is depicted in green in place. So the effective schedule is going to be once again in dark gray, our unoccupied set points. Now we can go back to adding a few other events to our system. We'll begin with Summer Half-Day Fridays. This is going to affect the entire building. So we'll go back to the top, and we're going to add a holiday, but this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be dated weekly because Fridays from June 1st to August 31st, we're going to be closing the building at noon. So we'll select our holiday, our dated weekly schedule, put in our description, and we can simply put in the beginning date of 6/1 and the end date of 8/31. And iView will do the rest based upon what we set up next. So it's only going to apply on Fridays. We have our begin time and end time here. And we want this to go to unoccupied mode at noon on these days. So we're going to run our normal schedules in the morning, then at noon we go into holiday. Click accept, and we have our half-day Fridays in place. Next, let's go to sales meetings. This one's going to be greatly different because now we're going to utilize scheduling groups. So let's go to scheduling groups in our tree. And the first thing that we need to do is understand what we need to set up for this group. We begin by adding a group. We're going to call this meetings and accept. Now that we have our group established, we can highlight it and add members to the group. Remember to hit accept after you create that group name. Now we go to the Members tab. Notice it looks a lot like our typical schedule. Select Members, and we want to put in the zones that are going to be part of this group. This is a trick where you might want to copy the address of this tab that we have open for iView, open another tab, and simply paste it. Now we have two iView tabs open. In this one, I can shift to look at my overall floor plan. On floor 1, I see my lobby zone. On floor 2, I see marketing, and I also see the break room that I want to have included in this group. I can switch back to my original tab, expand floor 1, and select lobby unit heater and add it. I can expand floor 2. Here's my break room. I'm holding the control button down on my keyboard and selecting marketing, and we'll add these as well. So these 3 zones are all part of my meetings group. Click accept. Execute now, yes. And now I can create my schedule because now I have created my group. So the schedule is going to be a normal priority, and we're going to utilize wildcards. We're going to have this sales meeting schedule set up 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. the last Thursday of every month. Wildcard. Put in our sales meetings description. And that is the last Thursday. We'll make this only for 2022. Any month is what we want in place because it's every month and the last week of that month. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the time that we want. So we have that in place as well. Click accept. And we have our schedule for our group. We have our members of our group. And now we can go back to the top of our system, go back to schedules and reports. And let's run that schedule instance report once again. Here we can see there's a lot more to this than where we began. We begin with at the building 1 level, we have our holidays in place. Floor 1 shows a normal schedule of Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., as well as the lobby unit heater is visible as a member of the group meetings. Floor 2, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4:30, with break room and marketing is members of groups meetings. Then at the bottom, we show our scheduled groups called meetings, normal schedule, sales meeting, every last Thursday of 2022, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Let's look at it a little bit differently. Back to schedules. Let's go to our marketing and view. Now let's go forward to the last Thursday. And here we are on 2/24. We show this is going to run from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and then again 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. If I click View All, I can see what we have in place exactly. Next, let's put in this special event for carpet cleaning. So the entire building from July 22nd to July 25th, we want it to run continuously. And we want this to be an override. So we'll go to the top, configure, add, override priority. Type will be a continuous. We'll call it carpet cleaning. And this says July 22nd through July 25th. 7/22, 7/25. And it is going to be occupied from 8 a.m. on the 22nd to 5 p.m. on the 25th. And accept. And let's put in the last one, which is going to be a date list. This is going to be the entire building once again. Normal. Date list. And we'll simply call this audits. And now we'll put in our dates. This is only going to apply to this year. And we can reference February 15th and add. Next is May 17th. Add. August 17th. Add. And November 16th. Add. Our timing is 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So we can simply drag this over. Sometimes you gotta grab it a couple of times and accept. Downloading to the controllers, and now we should have everything in place to meet our scheduling needs. Let's go back and take a look. Reports, schedule instances, run. We can see all of the things that we have in place, including here's our audits, running a normal priority on these specific dates, our holidays, including our last Monday in May for every year, our year-end break, our half-day Fridays, as well as carpet cleaning and the other things that we reviewed previously. Now let's take a look at it under our schedules in view. Let's go to that week that we're going to do the carpet cleaning and see how all of this stacks up. So this is July 22nd. And we'll start looking at it from the 21st. So this shows what we're going to be having happen at the entire building level. View all, just to make it easy. By the way, you can select these individually, but we'll just hit view all. And we can see why we wanted to use our override schedule. We would have had our half-day Friday turning things off. Since this is at the building level, it really doesn't put it into perspective for us. So let's look at floor 2 and jump back to 7/21 and view all. So on Friday, 7/22, we start our day at 6 a.m. as normal, and then we would typically be closing for our half-day Fridays at noon. But our carpet cleaning picks up the schedule and keeps us running all the way through till the end of the day on Monday. So that way we keep all of our equipment operating. Since we have this perspective to look at things, we can verify that effective schedule of what we were trying to accomplish is met. Now let's look at one more thing. I notice server room here. Let's click on that. And our server room is running 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with the rest of the building. This could potentially cause a problem because we went from running our entire building, including the server room, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to only running the server room 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The servers that are enclosed there never go home. So we need to make sure that area is kept cool back to 24/7. So we can do it by creating a schedule at this specific piece of equipment and ignoring it from everything else going on within the building. We'll begin. Go to the Configure tab. We're at the server room level, so we add a schedule. We're going to make this a normal priority, and we're going to make this a weekly. So we're simply going to call this 24/7 operation. Select every single day. Set it for 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. Except, but we still need to get rid of all of this other stuff, because if we look at this by looking at view, we see that we asked it to keep running. But if we jump to a Friday in June, for instance, we can see it's still affected by our half-day Fridays. We need one more step. Back to configure. In this checkbox, ignore schedules from above this level is just what we need. Select it and accept. It removed all of those other schedules from this piece of the system because all of those came from above it. Now, if we look at this, we can see here's our 24/7 operation. If we look at the view, we can see that's in place. And if we look back in June, we can see even on Fridays in June, we're still going to stay running. Now we've accomplished everything that we need to within our facility. We can go back to our reports and run our schedule instance report, have our list of everything that we need. Then, this is just at the server room. We'll go back to the top, run the report, and we have the entire building, including our server room, which shows that it's ignored from above, is going to run every day of the week, midnight to midnight. From here, if you want to save this report or email it to somebody else, we can select PDF. iView will turn that into a PDF file for you as it's working through that process now. And now I can download it. I can print it. Once it's downloaded, I can email it to building managers to let them know this is what we have in place. And that's it for the schedule segment.